Welcome to the game room. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Sean, and we're still working on Horror Pack B, and today we are going to do the Hannibal Lecter looking model. And again, we should be able to get him done fairly quickly. We have his boots, his jumpsuit, and his straitjacket. Lovely, lovely straitjacket. And skin and the mask around his face. And the only using a handful of colors here. You know what? We're going to use plate metal for the brackets in the back. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the biggest part, and that's going to be his jumpsuit. And I'm going to use Army Painter's Zombicide Prison jumpsuit. Picked this up at Gen Con years ago, and don't get to use it that often, but lava orange would work well too. I just think this kind of fits the jumpsuit, prison jumpsuit. Kind of fits. But if you have lava orange only, let me show you that one. So you kind of get an idea. That didn't do something. Let's try that again. Virtually the same color, maybe a little more yellow, and it'd probably be a little better. Yeah. Mix up completely. But anyway, we're going with the prison jumpsuit. We'll make it work. And as you'll notice, this is not a contrast paint. So I don't have, actually, in this one, I don't think I have any contrast paints. Maybe I do. Maybe one. You could use the black for the boots contrast paint, or just use matte black. Army Painter. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish painting up the jumpsuit, and we'll be right back. Okay, with the orange done, and I will have to say 2 thin coats was the way to go. I had to put one on, let it dry, and then reapply it again, as the jumpsuit did not cover in one coat, which was fine. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the boots. For that, we're going to use our contrast black Templar. Again, difficult. Okay, with the black done, let's go ahead and move on to the little bit of skin, which is basically his head. We're going to start with tan flesh. We're going to follow it up with barbarian flesh, and then in a little bit we're going to hit it with the flesh wash to tie those together. If you've watched any of my other painting videos, this is kind of the straightforward way I do the skin tones. So, see it once, you've seen it, I don't know, 20 or 30 times already. Alright, let's have to open there. Alright. And with the tanned flesh, we're going to go ahead and do the barbarian flesh. Now for this, we're just hitting the high points. You don't want to get it all the way down where the tanned flesh went. You really want this to sit up on where the light hits. Now it'll look a little pasty at first because of the big contrast, but when we put the flesh wash on, it will tie those together. All right, with the skin tone done, next one we're going to do is mummy robes. And this is, it's a white, it's kind of a dingy white, and I thought that would look good for the straitjacket. Just a touch of water to smooth that out. And we will come back and wash this to make it even darker, but this will remove just some of the bright whiteness of just using a straight white. And since we're going to kind of, normally I would use the apothecary white on top of that to kind of gray it down, but I actually want to brown this down a little bit just to make it look, you know, dingy and like it came from this island. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. Be right back. Okay, now that we've got the mummy robes done, on the back of it you've got the belt buckles, which you can kind of see right there, and for that I decided I'm going to use plate mail metal. Normally I'm using gunmetal. It's just a different shade of silver, different metal, so use whatever metal color you want. Alright, I thought I was only going to do one contrast paint, that was the black, but I decided to go ahead and do his mask that he's wearing and the strap around his head in Agaros Dunes, just because this model's taking, the jumpsuit took a lot longer than I anticipated. So we'll just use this one. You could use any brown, just make sure you thin it down. Army Prima browns are pretty good. We're just going to try this one and see how this one works out. We really just want a light, enough to contrast with the skin, but a lighter brown. I wanted a lighter brown, and the Agaros Dunes fits that build very, very well. And being a contrast paint, it will fill in those gaps. Alright, and the flesh wash will get in there and finish off the skin parts too. So I'm going to let that dry for a second, and we'll be right back. Okay, now that the mask is dry, I'm going to use flesh wash on the flesh. So on his head. Just a little bit. And the flesh wash, you really want to sit down in those recesses of his eye sockets to make them dark. You want to get it around the straps so that it'll shade those straps and give it that shadow look. You can see right there. And it'll tie up all of the skin that we did earlier, the barbarian flesh, then on top of the tanned flesh. It'll tie those together. Now, I'm going to do something really crazy. So remember I said that I didn't want to gray this down. I didn't really want it to be white. I wanted it to be a little more of a dingy brown. So I'm going to take that same flesh wash and I'm going to add some water to it to thin it down some. Okay, thin it down a lot. There we go. Kind of like a tea. Consistency of tea, I think is what I got there. And I'm going to do the straight jacket. Now, if you want it to remain a brighter white, then add more water. Do that. Now this is really just to shade it. I really just want it down in the recesses, but it will also just kind of give it an overall look of being kind of dingy. Now you don't want it to pool anywhere on him, especially except for like really down in the deep crevices. You don't want it to be brown. Well, maybe you do. I mean, if you want it to be brown, go for it. So I don't want it to be brown. But what I'm going to do after this is I'm going to come back with the mummy robes, and we'll give it a good dry brush to bring those highlighted raised areas back out from that. Now, so it's going to have to dry before we can do that. So now, I'm going to get a bigger brush, and I'm going to do the same thing with that same wash that we created over the orange. This will darken our orange down just a little bit. I can keep it standing here. And we'll get into all those crevices and really make those crevices dark orange. Pop. So bear with me for just a minute. He's not sticking to my glue dot though because of the way his feet are positioned. So that's why he's kind of moving around a lot. Okay, we're going to let him dry, and then we will highlight the mummy robes with a dry brush, and we'll be just about finished. So be back in a moment. Okay, well, his jumpsuit has not finished drying yet. And back just a tad. His straight jacket has. And so now I'm going to use the mummy robes again, and I'm just going to do a dry brush. So to do dry brush, get your stiff dry brush. This is an Army Painter hobby dry brush that I've used a lot, which is why it's kind of frayed out. Which that's actually what you want on a dry brush. And you get paint in it, then you wipe most of it off on a cloth, a paper towel, and then you're going to very quickly go over the model just to pick up the raised edges, and you'll start to see right away. Let's go back and forth. That some of the brown is starting to disappear, and the mummy rose is coming back. And try to figure out how to hold him. Okay, we're going to let him completely dry, get him on a base, and we will come back and see how he looks. All right, finished and based. So there you have it. Murphy's Law really kicked in with this guy. The orange took a lot longer to get painted than I anticipated. So I think we are at filming time. I did stop to finish, so it took about 10 minutes. He took about 30 minutes to do, which was way longer than what I had hoped. But, oh well. But you can still see, within 30 minutes, not bad. Tabletop distance, you can get a pretty darn good result. Minimal colors, doesn't require hours and hours and hours of painting time. Turn on your hockey game, podcast, YouTube videos. Put my channel on. One of my subscribers said that he just puts my channel on and listens to me blather on while he paints. Anyway, I hope this helps. Please like, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below. You never know. It really helps us, and you never know. Sometimes we might just do a random giveaway of something. If you watched our Don't Look Back week, commenting was how you could have possibly won. So again, please like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think, and see you next time. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. Bye-bye.